Rise of the Planet of the Apes is the 2011 sci-fi film that marks the beginning of 20th Century Fox's reboot of the Planet of the Apes series. It stars James Franco and is directed by Rupert Wyatt. The film follows Dr. Will Rodman, a scientist who is trying to develop a cure for Alzheimer's disease, partly motivated by trying to find a cure for his own father who is suffering from Alzheimer's disease himself. From the very start, the film seems very Black Mirror-like, in the sense that it shows humanity thinking they've made a breakthrough discovery, but we are unable to see the consequences of our actions and thus contribute to our own destruction. It seems like humanity is obsessed with stories that involve our own extinction. I think that is because at the end of the day, we get to remind ourselves that it is just a movie and nothing more. In the science world, when discoveries are made, before we test the product on humans, we are required to use lab rats first. But in this case, we needed something a little closer in genetics, so we turned to our lower primate cousins, the chimpanzee. The story follows one chimp in particular named Caesar, who has inherited significant intelligence abilities through his mother, who was given ALZ-112, that's the drug that Dr. Will Rodman created in his search to cure dementia. While the drug seems to bring promising results on chimps, it seemed to act differently on humans. This is made known when Dr. Rodman decided to sneak some ALZ-112 out of the lab and test it on his father, Charles. Temporarily, Charles was cured of his condition, but about 5 years later, his Alzheimer's was back with full force. Dr. Will Rodman had now unknowingly made our lower primate cousins now equally intelligent as us, thus marking the rise of the Planet of the Apes. From start to finish, I think this film does a wonderful job of never boring you. Some parts are filled with action, some with story, and some with dialogue, and it all comes together to make one pretty entertaining movie. The film is relatively short, only lasting about an hour and a half in running time. And while thanks to modern technology, the CGI wasn't extremely noticeable, there were times when it was pretty obvious. Other than that, there really isn't much to complain about. James Franco is great once again. No one seemed out of place for their role. The movie has an interesting beginning, middle, and end. I would say if you are a fan of sci-fi films, you should definitely consider watching this film, along with the well-deserved sequels that followed.